It was amazing. It was like crazy to me that you could make so much money online. That how much money I used to make at a real job, I could just do from a computer. So yeah, it was an amazing feeling.
The pain of me being average has to hurt more than the pain of being scared of a sales call. How old are you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm 21.
Oh, 21,
Yeah,
man. 20, you're
yeah.
making 6K. If I had to get a client in 30 days, let's say I have zero experience, zero social proof, here's what I would do.
Every time I had a problem, I fix it. You thought like
This guy closed 2 clients just by watching some of my videos. Now he makes 6K a month at only 21 years old. Hey Matthias, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Sad. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. It's been a long time since I've wanted to like sit down and talk to you about your journey, etc. I think a lot of people would appreciate this, especially people who
Yeah,
are watching from the fence.
always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So I want to ask you, how many deals you've closed in your journey so far?
So far, I think I closed about 6 deals, a mix of paper performance and also upfront when I got more confident in the space.
Awesome, man. So in total, how many like deals you've actually closed and you received money in your bank account so far?
I think around 6K.
6K.
6K, yeah.
Awesome, man. That's interesting. Yeah. And what were you doing before this?
What I was doing before this actually kind of funny. I had like a gambling business
Gambling
with my
business.
yeah with my friend. Essentially, I paid people I knew and my friends
Yeah.
to sign on gambling sites for their bonuses. And then essentially what I did was I spread the bets across win, draw, and loss on a match, basically getting all of my money back. And then in the second match, when you got the bonuses, I did the same again, and that's where I basically generated a profit. And then I paid people to use their bonuses.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
So from
but it's not sustainable at all because I have to send people a lot of money, and I had a contract and stuff. But I didn't really trust people with that much money. So yeah, and then I bought a course in the same niche for like 5K. But
5K
yeah,
course.
yeah, 5K course. I spent a lot of money on it, but it was a waste. But
Wow.
yeah, that's actually how I stumbled upon one of your videos on my feed, and I was like, I need to find like
Yeah.
a proper way to do business. So we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, I remember, I believe you closed 2 clients before, like, and you sent me an email?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I sent you an email because I was pinching all of your content. I
That's
was taking
crazy, man.
screenshots of all of your prompts. It's talking to ChatGPT. Can you output this and save it and all in a document and basically creating all of your make scenarios just to get better.
So from gambling to sales systems, so it was essentially you were just scrolling on YouTube and I just popped out, I just spawned.
Yeah, it was Scott. Like I remember I watched a little bit of Nick Sutter.
Oh yeah, yeah, shout out to Nick,
Yeah,
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 my friend.
yeah, about some of his email videos, and then you popped up right after. I was like, I have to watch this, and then I just gone in a rabbit hole of watching all of your videos.
So what made like what was this decision you had to make to go from gambling to actually not really gambling, but that business model to like sales
Yeah.
systems? What made you pivot to that?
I knew my other business model it wasn't really sustainable, and I wanted to do something properly, like a real business model, and actually help people. Yeah, generate more money. It's like and just the way that you did things, it really intrigued me that you could personalize at that level,
Yeah.
and it was just really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys don't know, the level that Matthias has now in terms of sales systems is one of the best copywriters I've seen. Like the level of personalization that you generate is crazy. Yeah. Because I
Thank you,
looked
brother.
through your campaigns, I saw how you write. You literally write like me exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to write like you based upon your frameworks and stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Like I always say this, like just copy what works. Just copy
Yeah,
what works. Yeah,
definitely.
even I like when I see something that's working, I copy it in terms of
Yeah,
business, because people already figure that out. I don't need to like reinvent the wheel.
yeah,
Just copy
exactly.
what
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
This is exactly what big companies do. I mean, think about it. Like when TikTok came in, well, now we have IG Reels, now we have YouTube Shorts. So if even the
yeah,
big companies are copying each other, what makes us different?
def- yeah. No, no need to reinvent the wheel, I
You
should
don't need
say.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So was this like I believe it was like 6 months ago now when you
yeah,
first got started with cell systems.
yeah. Yeah, it was about 6 months ago. So yeah, so happy to be here in this space.
Yeah.
It's an amazing space.
So just so I understand, you closed two deals, like just off YouTube.
Of YouTube, I think my first deal, my brother Victor, he referred me someone from Instagram because they posted a story basically needing email marketing, and I reached out to them saying that I could help them, and essentially they just paid for the calls, $500 just for the call, so it was like a win-win situation
Yeah.
because I gained experience. And then we made a deal like if I got them some meetings, they would give me some. Him and his business partner would give me a testimonial. So,
Yeah.
and that's where like from there, I figured I'd go all in because it really works. And yeah, that's how I got started actually.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, how did you feel when you first got that first payment?
It was amazing. It was like crazy to me that you could make so much money online. That how much money I used to make at a real job, I could just do from a computer. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was an amazing feeling.
Yeah, like I always say this, like the best feeling you have is when you first get your first payment. Like life
Yeah,
changes after that because you're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
real.
do this for a long time.
Yeah, you can't get a regular job after that.
Yeah, that's so true. I can never go back to a regular job.
No.
Awesome, man. Can you walk us through how did you get started? What was like the journey like from start to finish? If you had to like just recap everything that happened in a few lines, what would you say?
Yeah, definitely. So I got started with my first client where essentially they paid for just the system. And from there, I knew it worked, so I got into the SaaS niche. And from there, I hopped on a lot of sales calls. And there was a one actually kind of big company. They wanted to do a pay per lead with me, so I was like, okay, let me try it. They wanted to pay $300 per meeting. So I started the offer, crafted the system, and basically launched the campaign, and then I generated the meetings as well. And yeah,
What was the biggest challenge you've had in your journey so far?
I feel like that's been a lot of challenges. That's always a new bottleneck. But whenever you like widen that constraint, you can always solve the bottleneck. But I feel like uh, basically you have to do everything yourself in the beginning. I know when you reach your level, you can hire quality people to help you, but you have to do the lead sourcing. You have to create some good campaigns. For example, let's say you create a good campaign and now you're printing meetings, but now you can't close them. That was my my last problem.
Yes, classic. Yeah, I had this before.
But yeah, that was the next bottleneck. But when you solve that, you close them. The next bottleneck is fulfillment. But whenever you solve all of these bottlenecks, you just leveling
Yeah,
up.
you're just
But
leveling up and getting better. In business, you're always going to be solving problems, and sometimes you have to solve the same set, like the same set of problems in just different circumstances. Now you're dealing
yeah,
with the
it's
same monster, but a bigger one, a bigger version of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. So
a bigger dragon to slay.
yeah, was there a moment you had where you wanted to quit?
mm, yeah, of course, you always gets discouraged when you meet a prospect who's not nice to you, or you hop on a lot of sales call, you're not meeting a lot of success. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of a volume game. So if you hop on enough calls, you close one, that's 100%. But yeah, I feel like when I was hopping on a lot of calls and I couldn't really close a deal, that I was like, yeah, I wanted to quit, but you can't quit. You just have to keep
Yeah, you
going.
can't quit. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only thing you can do. You can't quit.
That's a powerful mindset, man. Like because I always say like people don't have business problems, they have personal problems. Once you solve the personal
Yeah,
problems, everything just becomes easier. You know, when you say
exactly.
instead of saying, "What if I fail?" Say, "How can I make it work?" You know, I
Yeah,
mean, people have done it. Like people are not better than you. You know,
yeah, yeah,
nobody can be better than you. Nobody can beat you. You just have to do it more. That's literally it. That's the
yeah,
hack, you know, as the hack. It's just
yeah.
consistency and stickability, you know?
Exactly. No shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, man, I talk about it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm curious. Why did you go straight to sales systems instead of just like selling random automations or generic automations?
What intrigued me about sales system was that you actually generate the business. You're working with
Yeah.
more money, so it's a lot easier to pitch as well, and it's worth a lot to the business also. So that's why it's a very interesting field. Basically, generating meetings for business.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
If you try to pitch a generic automation, not only it's not scalable, but it's also gonna like you can't really template out most of the automations. Now we have scope creep. Each client is gonna be different, so we can't really productize, you know. And trust me when I say
yeah,
this, most people that run automation agencies, the systems that they build and they sell, 90% of them are sales systems. And I talk to them every
yeah,
single day. They're just not talking about
yeah.
it. And they try to, make this proposal generators, all these onboarding systems flashy. But in reality, what they actually are selling is systems that automate lead gen. And they're not
Yeah.
talking about it. Because they know,
Those systems are used so much.
yeah. I know a lot of people in this space that don't like to talk about it. Because if people focused on that, it would remove all their problems. Because if you had, like, think about it, you or a business, if you had more leads than you did before, won't you have more clients than you did before? And if you have had more clients than you did before, won't you have more money than you did before? And if you had more money than you did before, well, won't you have a better life than you did before? If you can
Definitely.
reverse engineer that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a clever way to frame it.
The ants go where the sugar lies. So go where the money
Yeah.
is.
That's a good saying.
Yeah, man. So if you've had to start from scratch, what would you do differently?
Yeah. I thought about this, and I think it would be not being afraid to work for free,
Oh yeah.
and gaining some experience, not being afraid to work on a paper lead, because it's like a golden opportunity to gain some experience. And also there's no pressure on you because they haven't paid you anything yet, or at least covering the systems. So yeah, that's definitely my main advice, and then also not being afraid to try new angles,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, one piece of advice for anyone who's watching this. If you manage to get your first clients and they say, well, can we work on a pay performance? Yes, just take that. Because my first deal too, it was a pay per performance and I'm doing just fine. I'm doing over 100K a month and it went well. Okay, so let me just give you guys a hack that you can use. So if they say, well, we want to work pay on performance, you just use your own emails and domains and go for the connector angle. Instead of buying them all the infrastructure, use your own infrastructure and just connect their ideal clients with them. That's it. So there's no sunk cost to you because you already have the infrastructure, and then you can position yourself as the connector between two companies or two industries, your client and their ideal client. That way you're at $0. You're not spending money, but you're also getting paid. Once you do that, well, Now you have a case study over the lever. Well, you pitch for a retainer, go straight to a retainer, and then you just lock them out for like 3 months. And at the same time, you use that case study to have more like new clients. Okay. So you'd also hop on a call with that prospect. You say, hey, I want to ask you a quick question, like 10 to 15 minutes. Just walk me through how, like, what was it like working with me, etc. And just record that and slap that in your page, your landing page. It's going to get you more clients, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The social proof is everything in this space. I feel like so when you work with a couple of clients, it's easier to close the next couple of clients. Especially if you got them good results.
Yeah. What would you say to people who are scared of sales calls?
Yeah, if you're scared of anything, you should just do it. Like it's important that you do it because at the end of the day, outbound is what moves the needle. But
Yes.
outbound doesn't really matter if you don't hop on the opportunities that you generate. So yeah, you have to hop on the sales calls.
Yes. I mean,
And
the beauty about sales systems is that you control your fate. If you do outbound, you're gonna generate opportunities for yourself. So you don't need anyone to generate opportunities for you, you know? It's kind of like you go
yeah,
into the
that's
store, yeah, you go into the market and you pick someone and you make them your clients. That's so cool.
yeah,
Kinda,
it's so cool. It's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta get the reps in. I feel like.
Yeah, anything that you're afraid of, you should confront it. This is a self-limiting belief, and it's also kind of self-sabotaging because I had this exact same thing. When I first got started, if I had a positive reply from someone, I would panic because I need to talk to them now.
Yeah,
Especially as an introvert. So I
yeah,
had to learn that the pain of me being average has to hurt more than the pain of being scared of a sales call, because potentially that person is going to have to pay me money. And why am I scared of someone who wants to pay me money?
yeah.
See how
Makes no
our
sense,
old
right?
identities want us to stay broke, whether it's
Yeah, stay the
karma,
same.
whether it's our own limiting belief, maybe in our childhood, somebody, maybe for example, in your childhood, someone told you, well, you're never going to be successful, or maybe your teacher said that, and now you intrinsically, subconsciously still think that, unconsciously you still think that. When life, you get older, etc., and you want to build a business, you want to have financial freedom, you want to have location freedom. Now that old identity is trying to, like its best to put you in that comfort zone because you're scared of success. See how interesting that
Yeah,
is?
yeah. That's so crazy,
But you
actually.
have to
Like,
do it. It's part of your individuation process. It's part of you
yeah,
becoming a more mature person. Is you need to confront that. You need to confront it.
yeah,
How old are you?
yeah. Oh, I'm
Oh,
21.
21,
Yeah,
man. 21
yeah,
making 6K.
yeah,
When I
yeah.
was when I was 21, I was punching people in the face.
Yeah, you was a bouncer, right?
Yeah. Wow. 6K, man. Wow.
How was it? Did you like it?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, especially when they are knocked out after. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you knock someone out, you get this insane confidence boost. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Yeah. Man, like you're 21 years old, making 6K. So think about it. If you had to go through university, do you think you'll be making 6K now?
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Wow. Well, what does your friends think about this? Like when you tell them, "Hey, I make 6K, I'm 20, I'm 21."
Yeah, they're happy for me that I found something that is working because I tried like everything, every business model.
Classic,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Tell me about it
yeah.
for this.
I tried SMA. I tried some trading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the classics. But yeah, this one is the best by far of all the business models that I tried.
Yeah, see, most people try it as a SSMA, basically like trading, crypto, TikTok
Yeah,
shop, e-commerce, like
yeah,
selling everything, selling T-shirts, all this stuff. Everyone went through this thing, you know. I tried, you know, being a web developer, like designing website, and I quickly realized that it was not that thing for me. I hated doing
Okay.
that. Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah.
I think my strongest points are definitely going to be sales. It's not even automation. You know, I'm not the
Yeah.
best at automation, but I'm really good at sales. And most people,
Yeah.
yeah, most people that are really good at automation, they usually are not making that much money. It's just the truth, man.
Yeah. Sales is important.
That's the biggest bottleneck, like that I noticed in just the last 6 months. Because I mean, the AI and automation space is so big now. Everyone wants to do this, but most just know how to build the workflows, but they can't explain that workflow in a way that's gonna help a business grow.
Yeah, that's also what you mentioned. You shouldn't dive in on the specific details on the system, but more like a
Yeah. Yeah,
benefits over
exactly.
features, right?
This is
Yeah,
basically what I teach. Like, I never, like, to give you guys some context, basically, when you enter a sales call, the best way is just anchor the price first, mention the pricing, because most prospects are so used to getting hit with the pricing question at the end, you know, and now they have to do something else, you know. So it acts as a pattern disrupt. You say, hey, usually the clients that we work with invest around X, Y, and Z, and then if it makes sense, and if it seems like we're fit, we can just go ahead and get started. Best way you do it, and then like most prospects are gonna get scared, they're gonna get intimidated, which is good because now you have authority over the call because you want to frame the call. Once that's done, well, now you can understand more. Like you can ask them questions about their business. It's called pain discovery. You ask them what made you hop on a call, what made my outreach stand out, and then you can transition from that to the why questions, which is essentially why now, right? And then you ask them about their current lead generation methods. Are they using any automated lead gen, etc.? And then you transition into your solution, which is basically the payoff. It's always going to be benefits over features. Talk about ROI. Since you transitioned from the why questions, you'd say, well, what would happen if you don't fix this right now? You show them the costs, you know, because most people just show them the payoff, but I show them also the costs. Compare the costs to whatever they are doing to your solution, because if you don't compare it, prospects are always going to compare that to something that costs them less.
that's amazing sales pitch. Like I
Just an
covered this.
overview.
Yeah, I covered the exact same thing after I was struggling, and it went much better after. You also posted a video on this. So yeah, I did the exact same and went a lot more smooth.
Yeah, when it comes to you, man, like I think the only thing that would add is just like ask for more money simply. I
Yeah,
think you have the confidence. You just need to say it.
it's like also like a limiting belief that
Yeah.
I can charge more money, but
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Again, it's a
yeah,
limiting belief. Well, of
yeah,
course, you deserve more money, man. I mean, you're solving a big problem, you know? You're solving a big problem, which is client acquisition. Think about it.
yeah, exactly,
5K is
exactly.
nothing for a business that's going to make 10 times ROI, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
What would be a piece of advice that you would give to someone that is watching this and wants to get started?
I'll say get out there and start doing sales systems. That's my main
Better take
advice.
action.
Yeah, take action and try everything. Launch fast, iterate hard, based upon what's working. And yeah, you'll definitely find success.
Okay, but if you had to, because I want people to watch this and get some actionables, like
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
actionable step by step, they have to implement. Because the cool part about my channel is I'm not just saying to people just the mindset or like the theory, but actual things they need to implement, like they can implement today and get some results. What would you,
Yeah,
what would you tell them? What would you tell these lovely people?
yeah. I'll tell them to basically to make it the most frictionless. Just hop on all of the free trials on the software, launch a small campaign, gain some experience, hop on the meeting, find a clever angle to work your leads, and respond to them quickly, and hop on a meeting with them. And from there, you learn a lot just by taking action. You learn a lot more than thousands of YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
If I had to systematically try, like if I had to get a client in 30 days, let's say I have zero experience, zero social proof, here's how what I would do. I would sign up to all the free trials, right? Let's say, I have a startup capital of like $300 or $200. I'd sign up to all the free trials. I'd launch a mini campaign, maybe like 600 to 700 leads, and then I would basically reach out to them. I would get some positive replies, but here's what I would do. I would treat this test campaign as a test. Once I get some positive replies, I would literally stalk the hell out of these people. I would look at their website, see what kind of the keywords, the lingo they use, and if they replied positively to my outreach, chances are similar companies are also going to be interested. So I will look at the exact niche that they are operating in, look at this exact vertical, and I'd go ahead and scrape more leads in the same exact vertical, because chances are, like I said, if they replied positively, well, similar companies are also going to reply positively. So I'll double down on that. I'd get as many positive replies, convert them to a meeting, hop on a sales call. I would basically have an abundance mindset when I enter the sales call. They need me, I don't need them. And then that way, because guys, it's gonna lower your anxiety, because I understand, okay? I understand. So it's gonna lower your anxiety. You're gonna be more calm, collected, and in control. And then I would treat it as a learning, like as a game, Treat business as a game. It's kind of like when you play a video game as a kid, You want to get better and better and better. When you download a new video game, obviously you're gonna suck, But that fanaticism that you have and those feedback loops is what makes you good at the game. So once you do that, you'd get a couple meetings. You'd always pitch a upfront fee. That's just the general rule of thumb. But let's say they're like, okay, we want to work on a pay performance. Still take it. Use that as a case study for your next upcoming clients. Okay, this is how I would do if I systematically wanted to get a client with no social proof, nothing. I would get that first client. I would use the connector angle, which means I'm going to use my own domains and emails, reach out to them, get them a couple intros, and then I would record a case study video testimonial with them, slap that in my landing page. I'd also keep my outreach, some using that cash that I collected from delivering. I would not spend that on Starbucks. I would not spend that on anything. Okay? Use that, reinvest in better infrastructure, and then use that case study as a case study in your copy. So you are working with them. Even if you get a client, don't think that it's not a case study. Say, hey, I am currently working with X, Y, and Z. Always say that. That's your social proof. That's your little color. Once you do that, you keep your pipeline flowing, get second, third clients, and then you start systemizing. But that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, that's the path. That is the path.
That's
That's the
literally
best
the
path.
path.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's the best framework right there.
How did you feel when you were in the community sales systems mastery? What was the community aspect of it?
The community was everything. Like every time I had a problem, I texted you thought like,
Yeah.
what should I do with this bottleneck, this copywriting, my deliverability, also lot crazy amounts of value in the school community, like discount codes, info, yeah, cool angles you can try and print meetings for. So like I wouldn't have made it this far without the community at all. So yeah, so grateful. And actually, my brother, he's the one that bought the calls for me. So that's why in school my name is Victor. So if
Yes,
you
yes, repeat,
yeah.
yeah. So I want to ask you one final question before we wrap this up. What would you say to someone who's watching this and they are listening? They're like, okay, this sounds cool, but I don't think I can do it.
Okay, I'll say you can't do it until you do it. So I also thought
Wow, I like how
yeah.
you're phrasing this. You can't do it unless you do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also thought I couldn't do it, but like you can do it because if someone else can do it, you can also do it. And yeah, they've just been doing it for more time than you have been. So yeah, no worries. You as a it's like a limiting belief. in my opinion. Like, but you just gotta crush that limiting belief
Exactly.
with action. Yeah,
With action, yes, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, action like beats any research, beats any like everything, you know.
yeah, exactly.
So what are your next steps right now?
My next steps, I think down the line it would be productizing my service a bit more like you.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple ideas when it comes to this.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and yeah, just keep my pipeline flowing, closing more deals, more social proof, reinvesting the profits into the business, and yeah, and just scale from there.
How many 21 years olds do you know that are making 10K?
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Like,
People
I
need to
just
go to
scrape.
university, do all this stuff. They'd have to settle for a job that pays them 5K. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's more risky to get a job
Yeah,
almost.
and you're literally there sitting on with shorts, a t-shirt, and you're closing deals, and you're making 10K.
Yeah, yeah,
Flex.
that's crazy.
Awesome, Matthias, man. Like, thank you for your time today. I really had fun
Thank you so
talking to you. It's
much.
always nice to talk to you. Even
It's a
our meeting
pleasure.
call that we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
I'll see you there,
Also,
man. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you
thank
for
you.
coming today. You would inspire a lot of people to actually just get out there, take action, you know.
Thank you, man.
And I'm really proud of you, man. Really proud of you.
I
And
couldn't have done it without you, brother.
you will crush it. And I am gonna help you with it, as always. Don't worry. Yeah,
Thank you,
steal
brother.
some ideas from you. Yeah. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, like I said, and I'll talk to you soon. Sounds good?
Sounds awesome.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Perfect.